YouTubers, it's Sonia. During this video, I plan to share with you a little bit about the journey that we started on with my son, how and when it started. I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can so it can just be a one-part video and not two. So I was trying to think of when exactly we started on this journey, and it's kind of hard to tell. It started out with my son having some headaches. And I was thinking that perhaps it was maybe a year ago. I know it was after first grade had started. And, you know, they were just like headaches, like we would pick him up from school and he would say that he had a headache. So I called his pediatrician and I had them order a allergy test, because that was the first thing I thought of, because we all suffer from allergies in our house. So, you know, it's like, okay, that's probably what it is. And then with the season, it just kind of made sense. So we did the allergy test. I also had them test for food allergies. Nothing much showed up. I thought maybe he was allergic to peanut butter. He wasn't. He had an allergy to mold, but he wasn't exposed a lot to mold. So the pediatrician, you know, just said, you know, if his headaches continue, to bring him in because we need to see what else is going on. So they didn't really get worse. I do know it was in January, early January, he started getting headaches. He had a headache. We were getting up, getting ready to go to school. I was getting ready to go to work. He woke up and he said he had a headache. So I said, well, come on, let's get up, eat you some breakfast and get dressed. Maybe you'll feel better. You know, so how sometimes you feel better after you eat. So he got up and was sitting at the table and he was just holding his head, and he said his head hurt too bad to eat. So I was like, okay, come on, baby, let's go back and get in the bed and don't worry about it. So I called my job. You know, I was going to take him to the doctor. Then he started throwing up. So my first thought is he's got the stomach virus that always goes around in January. He gets it. You know, he had it before. I've had it. So I called and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to take him to the doctor because I know they're going to tell me that it's this stomach virus. So I didn't take him. You know, as the day went on, he slept and he felt better. Well, a couple weeks later, it was still in January towards the end, it happened again. So I said, oh, he must have the virus again, you know, because it still was going around. So it's like, okay, I didn't take him to the doctor. It's like, I'm gonna let this pass. Well, about 2 weeks later, it happened again, and then it started happening in the middle of the night. He would wake up throwing up, saying that his head hurt. So I'm like, okay, is there something in our house? Nobody else was getting sick. What is going on? So I would say it was early March. He was sick. Took him to the pediatrician. You know, I'm like, something is not right. So I told the pediatrician what was going on. He thought that Kwesi was having these intestinal migraines, something I had never heard of. I did look on the internet and there is such a thing. So he said, you know, I'm thinking that that's probably what it is, but we're going to do an MRI just to make sure and rule things out. So I said, okay, but he told me if it happens again, to take him to the hospital, like ER, and they'll be able to do an MRI sooner than what we would be able to schedule. So I came home, scheduled the MRI. He did get sick again over the weekend, but because it was like an early Sunday morning, took him to the ER. They didn't do MRIs that early, only did CAT scans. They didn't want to do one on him because they didn't think it was that serious. They thought he was having migraines too. So they told us, just go to your scheduled MRI, you know, and they gave him some Tylenol or something and kept him there until the headache ceased. And it did, you know, he was fine by the time we got home. So scheduled his MRI on March 22nd. So we went, I took off work, took a vacation day, went and had the MRI done that morning, left After the MRI, we stopped at the bread company, our favorite place, sat and had lunch, came home. I dropped him off at home, and I went to run an errand and got a dreaded phone call from the pediatrician.